not ambush Rome. Not in the open, not in the wild, not anywhere within marching distance of a Roman legion. For centuries, that was the rule. Because Rome did not just fight wars. Rome engineered victory. Their legions moved like machines, disciplined, drilled, unstoppable. 20,000 men could build a fortified camp in hours. 30,000 could crush entire tribes in a single afternoon. Their enemies knew this. Historians would later write that a Roman legion was not simply an army, it was a system. A system of roads, supply lines, formations, and commands so precise that even chaos bent around it. And in the forests of Germania, chaos was everywhere. Thick woodland, narrow trails, mud that swallowed boots whole. Tribes that did not fight in lines, did not wear uniforms, did not follow rules. Rome believed those tribes were disorganized. Primitive, inferior, they believed Germania would fall like Gaul. And leading that expansion was a Roman governor named Publius Quinctilius Varus, a man who had governed Syria with iron authority, a man trusted by Emperor Augustus himself. Varus believed the war was already over. Taxes were being collected. Laws were being enforced. Roman order was taking root. But there was one man who understood how fragile that illusion truly was. A man raised among the tribes, trained by Rome, and now standing between both worlds. Arminius, and in the year 9 AD, he decided to break the rule. Arminius is exactly the kind of man Rome trusts. He is a Germanic noble, born into the Cherusci tribe, taken as a hostage in his youth, a common Roman practice, raised in Rome itself. He learns their language, their customs, their war. By his 20s, he is not just fluent in Roman culture, he is part of it. He earns Roman citizenship. He rises through the ranks as an auxiliary officer. He commands Germanic troops in service of the empire. He fights alongside legions, marches with them, studies them. He learns how they think, how they respond to threats, how they win, and most importantly, how they fail, because Rome's strength is also its weakness. Discipline makes them predictable. Structure makes them rigid. And confidence, absolute confidence, makes them blind. By 9 AD, Rome believes Germania is pacified. Varus is not campaigning. He is governing. 3 legions, Legio Svi, and 6, are stationed deep in the region. Nearly 20,000 soldiers, supported by thousands of camp followers, servants, and civilians. It is not an army on edge, it is an army at ease. Arminius sees the opportunity. He begins quietly, secret meetings, hidden alliances, messages passed between tribes that once fought each other, now united by a single purpose. Rome must be expelled. And then, he makes his move. He approaches Varus with intelligence. A rebellion, he says, has broken out to the north. Scattered tribes, disorganized resistance. Nothing serious, but it requires attention. Varus believes him. Why wouldn't he? Arminius is Roman trained, Roman trusted. So Varus orders the legions to march, not in battle formation, but in a stretched column, miles long, through terrain they do not control, through forests they cannot see through, into a trap they cannot imagine. Column moves slowly. You have to understand what this looks like. This is not a tight military formation. This is a snake stretching through the forest. Soldiers, wagons, civilians. Rain begins to fall. The ground softens. Mud forms under every step. Progress slows to a crawl. And then, the first scream. It comes from the edge of the trees. A soldier disappears. No warning, no formation, no signal, just chaos. Arrows follow. They do not come in volleys. They come in bursts. From every direction, unseen, untraceable, the Romans try to form ranks, but they cannot. The column is too long. Units are separated by hundreds of meters. Officers shout orders that never reach their men. Arminius is gone. Vanished into the forest he knows better than anyone. Now he leads the attack. Germanic warriors strike and retreat, strike and vanish. They know every tree, every path, every choke point. The Romans are fighting shadows. Hours pass. The rain intensifies. Shields grow heavy. Bowstrings slacken. The wounded cannot be carried. Dead cannot be counted. Night falls. Romans attempt to build a camp. Even that is incomplete. Rushed. Imperfect. They are not used to fear like this. Morning comes, and it gets worse. The path narrows further. The forest thickens. And then they reach a place that will be remembered for centuries. A narrow passage between a wooded hill and a marsh. This is where Arminius has prepared his masterpiece. A wall, not stone, not Roman, a crude earthwork, hidden by trees, stretching along the ridge. Behind it, thousands of warriors. Waiting, the Romans enter the choke point. The front cannot see the rear. The rear cannot see the front. They are trapped in segments. And then, the attack begins. Arrows rain down. Spears follow. Warriors surge over the wall, crashing into disorganized Roman units. There is no formation, no cohesion, only survival. Varus tries to rally his men. He rides through the chaos, shouting commands, trying to impose order where none can exist. But even he sees it. This is not a battle. This is annihilation. One by one, Roman standards fall. And for a Roman legion, that is the ultimate symbol of death. At around midday, Varus makes his decision. He falls on his own sword. A Roman governor choosing death over capture. The legions begin to collapse. By the third day, it is over. Legios V, Legios VI, Legios VI, gone. Nearly 20,000 men, dead, captured, or sacrificed in rituals that would echo in Roman nightmares. The forest falls silent again, but Rome will never forget what happened here. When news reaches Rome, disbelief comes first, then shock, then something far more dangerous. Fear. Emperor Augustus is said to have walked the palace, shouting, "Varus, give me back my legions." 3 entire legions erased, not defeated, destroyed. What they didn't know was that this was not just a battlefield loss. It was a strategic turning point. Rome halts its expansion into Germania. The Rhine becomes the permanent frontier. For the first time in generations, Rome chooses not to advance. They fortify instead of conquer. Germania remains unconquered, a wild frontier beyond Roman control. And Arminius, he becomes a legend among his people. The man who broke Rome. Arminius does not live to see old age. Internal rivalries, tribal politics, power struggles. Years after his victory, he is assassinated by his own. But his impact remains. 3 Roman legions XV, XVE6 are never reformed. Their numbers are retired, erased from Roman records as if they never existed. Because some losses are too painful to remember. Think about that. An empire that conquered most of the known world, choosing silence over acknowledgement. To this day, the Teutoburg Forest stands as a symbol, not just of defeat, but of a moment when the unstoppable stopped, when discipline met unpredictability, when arrogance met understanding and lost. They deserve to be remembered.